Hello, I'm Ajit K Jha, Editor-in-Chief of Power Pixar channel. And today we are making a second program on Orissa, Spotlight Orissa, because number one, it's a continuing development. The last video we made was in Hindi, and it turned out to be very popular. It has really gone viral. But I was told that lots of Odiyas would prefer the program in English, number one. Number two, one very interesting question came, and it is from an IIT engineer who is based in Bombay, and he has sent the question on the YouTube channel, and the question is the following. He argues that why would a party like the BJD, Biju Janata Dal, which has done so well in Orissa in the last 25 years, since Navin Patnaik has been chief minister, why would it concede grounds to the Bharatiya Janata Party if they were to have an alliance inside the NDA? So the story is the following. 15 years ago, there was Kandhamal riots in Orissa, in which about 38 people were killed, and about 25,000 people were displaced. And that led to the breaking of the alliance between the Biju Janata Dal and the Bharatiya Janata Party. The immediate reason for the riots was the killing of a well-known Vishwa Hindu Parishad seer, Lakshmi Nanda Saraswati. That sparked the riots, and that led to, it was unleashing of terror against churches. Lots of churches were torched, and it was quite an ugly riot, and that had led to the snapping of ties between the BJP and the BJD, Biju Janata Dal. Now, the question that he is asking is, why is it that the BJD, Biju Janata Dal, would concede so much of space to the Bharatiya Janata Party in order to enter into an alliance as part of the NDA? Now, the question is very significant because as we talk, it seems there is a stalemate going on in the talks. 2 rounds of talks, in fact, 2 rounds of formal talks, negotiations have taken place. 4 leaders have been leading the talks, and let me just tell you their names. Manmohan Samal. Manmohan Samal is the state unit chief in Orissa. So he came to Delhi to lead the talks, and along with him, Manas Mohanty, Bijapal Singh Tomar, and Lata Usendi. 4 of them came to Delhi. They were holding the talks with the central leadership of the BJP. Let me also tell you that something that is informal, that Mr. Pandian, who was an IS officer, who virtually runs the Orissa administration, who is almost like one could call him the Man Friday of Chief Minister Navin Patnaik, he also came and has been carrying on talks with the central leadership and bureaucrats in Delhi based. So several level of talks and negotiations are going on, and yet there is a stalemate. Now, why is the stalemate? What are the points where there is a disagreement? The disagreement is basically around 2 seats, Bhubaneswar and Puri, and other than the seats, the fight is over the number of seats both the party would like to contest. Now, the BJP would actually like to contest about 14 Lok Sabha seats out of 21. 14 out of 21 the BJP is demanding, which is unfair. Why? Because the BJP only won 8 out of 21 in 2019. 12 out of 21 was won by the Biju Janata Dal. So the Biju Janata Dal had won the major portion. In fact, if you look at the percentage vote also, the Biju Janata Dal had won 43.3% of the Lok Sabha percentage vote, whereas the BJP had just won 38.9, which is almost 5 to 6 percentage points less, right? And then similarly, the BJP had only won 23 of the total number of 147 seats in the assembly election, whereas the BJD had won 112 out of those. Now, at this moment, the BJD had asked to contest for the assembly elections. The BJD had asked for 2024 in this negotiation 100 seats. They were ready to concede 47 seats to the BJP, although technically the BJD had won 112 in 2019. So in a way, the BJD was bending backwards over the number of assembly seats, but the BJP has not agreed yet. So the process of negotiation for the NDA alliance is undergoing a stalemate. However, the two sides are still planning to talk because the elections has not yet been announced. So there'll be several levels of parley. Let me tell you a little bit about the structural conditions, what is happening in Orissa and how it relates to this negotiation. Orissa basically is, one would call it, a booming state when it comes to mining. In iron ore, coal, bauxite, chromite. These are the four sectors in which Orissa has done wonderfully well. And basically, Orissa has been leading the country in terms of all four of that. Let me give you figures. Of the entire country, 28% of iron ore comes from Orissa. Of the entire country, 24% of coal, 1/4 of coal comes from Orissa. Of the entire country, 59%, almost 60% of bauxite comes from Orissa, and 98% of chromite, which means almost the entire chromite that we have in India, comes from Orissa. That has been the main reason why Orissa has been booming, I would say, in the last 25 years, ever since Navin Patnaik took over. In fact, the size of the mining sector inside Orissa has grown exponentially at 26.69%. If you look at the average GSDP, gross state domestic product, that has only grown 17.8%. So this is almost like the growth of the mining sector is 8 to 9% higher than the average GSDP. So as a result, Orissa has been booming in mining, and the big chunk of the revenue that comes in the state basically comes from mining. Now, this is the good news. What is the bad news? The bad news is that there is a mining mafia that is operating. In the past, several names have come out in the open, and I'll just mention one name, Mr. B. Prabhakaran, who's been the MD of Triveni Earth Movers. His name has been, he's supposed to be a very big entrepreneur. He's from Tamil Nadu, just like Mr. Pandian, the bureaucrat who runs the state, is also from Tamil Nadu. But his name has come under cloud. Why am I mentioning this? The story is that this alliance between the BJD and BJP, who are the supporters of this alliance? One of the argument is that the mining lobby is a big supporter of this alliance. And there are very big private sector players in this. The Vedanta Group is well known, Birla, and several other to some extent, the Jindals, and I could go on and on. These are big-time industrialists who have been involved in the private ownership of mines and production of the various commodities that I mentioned: iron ore, coal, bauxite, chromite. It has boomed, but this is the lobby which is supporting the alliance. However, what has happened, that I already told you, that there is a fight over the number of seats that each party wants to contest. The BJP wants to contest 14 out of 21, which the BJD has not agreed to, and the BJD wants to contest at least 100 out of 147 assembly seats, which the BJP has not agreed to. But the real opposition is not coming from the top leadership. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chief Minister Navin Patnaik are very good friends. They have had the best cordial relations, which I have also mentioned in my last video. The problem is the ground level leaders, the leaders of BJP and BJD within Orissa. For them, this alliance is going to seal their ambitions, their future, because the entire opposition would then be open to the Congress party, which right now is barely about 15 to 16% of the vote. So they are afraid that they will be eating each other. As one leader who I spoke to, he mentioned that if the alliance takes place, the alliance would be that one-time alliance in history of India between Shivaji and Khan, where they were clawing each other. Remember that story. So they said that if we become allies, we'll end up clawing each other, almost ending the growth of each of the parties. Now, why is there, other than, as I pointed out, the support from the mining sector, what other reason is there that the BJD, which is actually losing out in this alliance, it seems, during negotiation, why is it that they are still interested? They are still interested because, and this is my personal view, that for Navin Patnaik, who is already 77, 78 years old and rather unwell, this might be his last election. He has ruled Orissa for the last 25 years uninterrupted, winning 5 times in a row. If he wins this 6th time, which he is likely to win, in fact, there is no reason to think that he won't. He might sweep the state again, and in case there is a friendly support from the BJP, he'll certainly sweep the state. But given the fact that by the time the next election takes place, he'll be about 83 years old, and given his health, it is highly unlikely that he'll continue further. Now, the number 2 player at this moment in running the state, in running the governance, is, as I pointed out, Pandian, an IAS officer from the Tamil Nadu. There is a lot of resentment, although he's an efficient officer. He has the support of the center. He has the support of the state chief minister. But there is a lot of Odia sentiment, resentment against him, given the fact that an outsider is actually has been imposed on Odia politics. So that is another place where there is a lot of resentment. So at this moment, as things stand, negotiations are still going on. There seems to be a stalemate over the division of seats. However, the top leadership, Prime Minister Modi and Chief Minister Navin Patnaik, are still wanting to have the alliance. I gave you the reasons. Why is Prime Minister Modi interested in this alliance? Why is the BJP interested in this alliance? Because if they end up getting 14 seats out of 21, and if they end up winning all 14, it will add to the kitty the dream of 370 seats in 2024 and ab ki baar 400 par. So therefore the BJP is keen on this alliance. However, as I pointed out, both the BJP and the BJD leaders at the ground level, at the state level, are opposed to it. Some of them, out of fear of their senior leadership, are not talking openly, but privately they told me that it is going to be a suicidal alliance if it takes place, and all it will lead to is the growth of the anti-NDA forces, the anti-BJD-BJP forces, that is the Congress and the left parties. I'll leave it at this. Thank you very much.